Wow. Whoa. That is some group of people. Thousands. So nice. Thank you very much. That's really nice. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
Donald Trump, just last week, he confirmed to the National Review that he is again considering a run in 2016.
Do it. Do it. Look at me. Do it. I will personally write you a campaign check now on behalf of this country, which does not want you to be president, but which badly wants you to run.
Donald Trump has been saying that he will run for president as a Republican, which is surprising since I just assumed he was running as a joke.
Is that people think that Donald Trump is a clown.
Donald Trump is a clown.
I mean, does anybody seriously think that Donald Trump is serious about running for president?
Donald Trump, you know, he's a clown.
The likely moderator apparently believes that Donald Trump is a clown.
Which Republican candidate has the best chance of winning the general election?
Of the declared ones right now, Donald Trump.
President Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States! Exclamation point at real Donald Trump. Well, at real Donald Trump, at least I will go down as a president.
So basically, this is the beginning of the end for Trump.
The beginning of the end.
Beginning of the end?
This is probably starting of the beginning of the end for Donald Trump.
Donald, you're not going to be able to insult your way to the presidency.
The strongest person usually isn't the loudest one in the room.
So right now we have Hillary's about a 75 or an 80% favorite. We have different versions of the forecast you can look at.
The poll has Hillary Clinton up by double digits nationally, 12 points, 50 to 38, a four-way race.
Clinton leading in Florida, Clinton leading in North Carolina, Clinton leading in Ohio, Clinton leading in Nevada. I could go on and on and on.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
And so, right now, Mr. Trump, to answer your call for political honesty, I just want to say, you're not going to be president, all right? It's been fun. It's been great. I love you. But come on, buddy.
We have a major projection right now. Donald Trump will take Ohio. And CNN projects Donald Trump will carry the state of Florida. Huge win for Donald Trump. Donald Trump, we project, will win in Kentucky, in Indiana, with its 11 electoral votes. West Virginia, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Mississippi, South Carolina, Alabama, North Dakota, with its 3 electoral votes, and South Dakota, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, the state of Montana, North Carolina, Georgia, Iowa, Utah, Wisconsin, Arizona, Kansas, with its 6 electoral votes, Nebraska with its 5 electoral votes, and Wyoming with its 3 electoral votes.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business.
Holy shit!
You're awake, by the way. You're not having a terrible, terrible dream. Also, you're not dead and you haven't gone to hell. This is your life now. This is our election now. This is us. This is our country. It's real.
Give my remarks to all of the Trump haters, all of the Hillary Clinton supporters, all of the people that said that my Trump was gonna lose. So I say to you this morning, the day after the election, I can't breathe.
Well, America, that is part one. We're going to be bringing you part two later on in the show. Today, it is 10 years later after Trump came down that escalator. What a great day it was. That day, it has been nothing but fantastic times. Little bit of suffering every now and then, but man, we have had some good times with him. And it's 10 years later, fam. Tonight, we have a pretty big crew. We got Reddaywalker with us. We have returning friend of the show, Annievarrrr, is hanging with us tonight. And we got two new friends. We got Ruler Hasgrit and PR Conservative hanging with us tonight. What is going on? So Tolowaski. I love that shit. That's funny. What's going on, everyone? How we all doing tonight?
Great, man.
Good.
Excellent. 10 years, baby.
That's a good way to start with that. And part two is just great. It took me forever to make those stupid things, slamming other people's memes together and everything. But yo, what happened to dude at the end? Like, I used to see him all the time, and I have not seen him in a minute. Like, he just did. Hopefully, knock on wood, he didn't pass or anything. He used to have some great posts on Instagram and whatnot. What is going on?
There's a lot of
everybody?
good people that just kind of go away after a while.
Yeah, he used to have some good stuff. What's going on? Conserve Reality. I see Rumble showing up again today. It's good to see Jonathan Stevie. My moderator, he's there. So yeah, it's just good, man. I know that the first election, everybody thought, even I did. I'm not gonna lie. At the time, my mother was the only one in our house that felt that Donald was gonna win. I thought for sure we were going to be stuck with Hillary Clinton. Thank the heavens that never happened. But it's just been great, and it's unfortunate that with all the good things that he did in his first term, he just faced fucking just fire, friendly fire, enemy fire. It was coming from all directions his first term. I mean, he's still getting it now, but he doesn't give a shit at this point.
Yo, exactly. Like, if you don't, I'm gonna just jump in real quick. So it's like he's the first person that went in and just went against the two-party system, broke that whole thing in half, where the entire left went after him, and then the rhino right came after him, and this exposed the two-party system. And it's weird right now to see the left be like, no, we need to go back to the two-party system that we hated before Trump came down the escalator. I don't understand these people, but let me not go on my Puerto Rican rants because I will never stop. So you need to interject as soon as I start talking, please.
That's sorry. We haven't had a ruler rant in a long time.
Oh.
Annie, what is going on? We haven't seen you in a while.
Who, me? Who, me?
Yeah, you, Annie.
We're talking to Annie.
Are you talking to Annie? Okay.
Yeah, what's up, Annie? Can you hear us?
Yeah. I'm on my cell phone. Well, I haven't been doing any social media because I started a new job in February, so I've been like laying low,
Right.
focusing on work.
We don't want to get you in trouble or anything.
We don't want to get you in trouble or anything like that. So we're gonna do our best not to get you in trouble tonight, Annie. Rula, let everybody know who you are, hon.
Well, my name is Rolla. I don't know. What do you want me to say?
Just let everybody know where they can find you.
Oh, you're gonna find me? You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Instagram, but TikTok, I have like 5 accounts on there. Oh, I have to remember my account's name. And I have 7 on Instagram. This one is Rolla Has Grit. The other one is Outspoken Greek. And I can't remember the other ones.
Well,
You're active on all of them though, because you'll comment on you'll like my posts like 6 times sometimes in like a day. I'll see it.
Yep, I go to all my accounts.
Where can everybody find you, PR?
Me, well, not in prison like most Puerto Ricans. So you can find me like I'm all over the place as PR Conservative, man. I'm on Rumble, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. I'm on every shadow ban platform, so it's hard to find me, but you can find me.
Right on. Yeah, I've been following you since I was following you on my personal page for a minute. That got nuked. Then I had to start a new personal page, and then last year I started the BigRedOneGuy page, and was following you in there too. So like I remember you had in the first administration, the first term, you had quite a bit of rants and stuff like that. You had some good content, especially when it came to Trump, right? Because I mean, I know we saw right off the bat some of the decisions he made was just like it was effective. The economy was like shit. It just like it went fucking like it got on that train and just kept rolling, for quite some time until the coup hit, to the Chinese fucking dropped the bio bomb on us and stuff like that with COVID and shit. And it just everything was just going so good. But he faced so much fucking scrutiny, like you said. The rhinos went after him. The left is always going to go after him because they're always going to go after us. That's just how it is. But everybody was just like he couldn't catch a win for shit.
No, it was unfortunate, man. I've never seen one person like go up against a system like this. It's something that we've asked for decades, like just forever. Even people that are not political, we've asked for something like this. But they're upset that it didn't come in the package that they wanted. It ended up being a white billionaire from New York. That's not who they wanted their savior to be, you know. So, but he came through and just destroyed everything, and I loved it. Like to me, his flaws is nothing compared to what he's doing. His flaws are minuscule to me. So I don't make a big deal about his mistakes and flaws or whatever. It doesn't bother me one bit.
Well, there isn't anybody who's perfect. There was only one person in this world that was ever perfect. So,
Thank you.
it just I'm okay with it. I never had any issues. But again, I didn't think he was gonna get elected because Hillary was fucking anointed back in the day. So I thought like for sure that I was like America's gonna be stupid and they're just gonna go, but they didn't. America surprised us all, and I think something that Trump did back then, was he had his pulse on the country at that time where a lot of people weren't paying attention, right? He went to places where in the Midwest and stuff like that. He went to the Rust Belt and stuff and just like talked to people and everything, and that's obviously we saw his rallies and how big they got. But I was still, again, until until it was announced that he actually had won, I was like, oh shit, okay, and then it was like that whole night was like, because they did her numbers coming in with the states that would come in fat. A lot of the liberal states come in early anyway, right? And then a lot of the blue, well, again, there's no blue states, it's just blue cities that fuck everything up.
Definitely.
And I just remember seeing that, and again, my mother was the only one that in my house that fucking had it right.
If you remember, that was the first election that I can ever remember in my lifetime that they didn't call the election at a normal time.
Yeah.
Remember, they didn't. Wasn't it days later? I don't know if it was days later or they wouldn't validate it. Usually, the whole time before that, for years, it was always like decided by like 9 or 10 o'clock.
Correct. You knew it by. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely correct. You knew it by like fucking that night. You knew it. Yeah. As soon as like Alaska came in, it was pretty much what do you call it? Called at that point. Even waiting for Hawaii, you knew how Hawaii was going to vote because they've been blue forever. And you just like, again, what's going on, Base Blondie? What's up, Rogue Nina? So yeah, I remember that was the first time where it was like, oh shit, like we had to wait and stuff like that. And then obviously we saw what happened in fucking 2020. But his first 4 years have been great. Were great for me. Obviously, we could have done better on spending and stuff like that. You and I and Scott have talked about that. It was like, he's got to take some credit for some of that shit too. But it was a learning curve for him, right? He had a whole bunch of people in his ears, that just the wrong people in his ear. He was trusting the wrong people because he was naive to this fucking world. He learned his lessons though, that's for sure.
Yeah, spending is a two-party problem, so that's for sure.
Yeah, that's you can't discount fucking how stupid we are too.
Oh, definitely.
The thing was that he didn't have anybody in Congress that was really even had his back then.
Yeah.
Like he just went through like a huge primary with the Republicans. He pissed all of them off on the way, which I don't have a problem with. But, they all hated
They're still
him.
pissed to this day.
Yeah, they are. They're still salty. They're all rhinos and neocons, and like even you look at the people in Congress now, like your Marjorie Taylor Greens, your Lauren Boeberts, like they weren't even around until 2020.
Right.
Yeah.
He didn't have. There was no like Freedom Caucus until like 2020.
Right.
And he was going up against literally both parties. Remember who the speaker was? What was his name?
Paul Ryan. Was it Paul Ryan?
Paul Ryan.
Paul Ryan did not like him. He ambushed him in his first administration.
Yeah, he did. He fucked them over every chance he could
get. And
get.
then Pelosi was the second one, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Was
Oh,
that the
wow.
second half of his first term?
Yes, yeah, it was Paul Ryan who was fucking bucking him at every chance he had, and then yeah, then it was Nancy Pelosi right after that. It absolutely sucked.
It was surprising that he got any wins at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, it's just crazy. I could still remember where the fuck I was at. Everybody remember where they were at when he won, and was like, oh shit, he
Bro,
won. He fucking
I
won.
I stood up. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I forgot what time I couldn't. I was trying to stay up and I just fell asleep and I woke up and I'm like, he must have lost. And I'm like, oh shit, it's still happening. I'm like, what in the world? I'm telling you, this was a shock to the system because they weren't prepared for this. That's why they didn't cheat. They're like, oh, he's gonna lose. He's a buffoon. They didn't
Yeah.
cheat. That's why they did. They cheated in
Well,
2020.
they didn't cheat. They didn't cheat to
Free
the
on
levels
YouTube.
they did in
Right.
2020. Fucking,
Right.
we'll get to that in a little bit.
Right. Sorry.
Because they always cheat. That's the
Sorry,
one thing they always do.
you're on YouTube. I'm like, don't say the cheat word.
No, you say whatever the fuck you want. Say whatever you want. Don't worry about it.
Who cares about YouTube, honestly?
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right,
Who
all
gives
right,
a
all
fuck?
right. I'm just trying to protect your page. All right.
Nah, don't worry about it. They got me on ice anyway. Don't sweat it.
All right. Cool.
Annie, how did your family react to it? Were they like on board with it, or were they surprised, or?
They were happy. My
Yeah.
family's Trump family.
Sweet.
To give a little history, Rula and PR, Annie's family escaped communist Vietnam. So
shit.
like, they understand fucking communism and shit and what it is
get
and
it.
everything like that. So like they understand it. So like they value their values here in the US are it's what we want.
You know what's crazy when someone that or their families live through that from other countries, whether it's Cuba, whatever, they'll come here. They try to explain to the white liberal, listen, I can see the same symptoms in the Democrat Party. They'll look at you and say, you don't know what you're talking about. Be like, no, my family just lived through this. We're living through it now. It's like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, these people are so brainwashed and conditioned. There is I don't know what you can do. You can't convince them. So it's a lost cause with these people.
It's actually over. It's because it's been since the late 19th century when the Marxism started to infiltrate our institutions here in the United States. They play. Scott and I talk about this shit all the time. How the Marxists, they play the long game, and fucking Republicans always want to do shit scorched earth. Okay, and we can't get a fucking win because it's like instead of giving ourselves a win and then moving the goalpost closer, right?
Yes,
And then get another win and then move it a little bit closer again, right? Until we're fucking standing and we could dunk, on a fucking goalpost and stuff like that, right? So we just don't do it.
Like I said, the Marxists they know that they don't care if they're alive or not to see the win. They just want to see the progression, so they just move it forward to the next person. The people on the right, they want to see instant gratification.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it doesn't work like that. You got to start. You can't break a system of 100 years of trying to tear down America. You can't do it in one administration or two.
You can't.
You can't. So you got to barrel through this, man.
It is. Ruler, where were you at, hon, when what do you call it? When he won the first time?
Okay, I have to remember. I was like, oh, cool, Trump won. All right, cool. As long as it wasn't bitch Hillary, I was happy with it.
Yeah, I honestly, like I said, I thought for sure we were gonna get hit with Hillary. I was terrified of that. I was like, fuck, man, we get hit with we get hit with Hillary, we're fucked. We're just like so fucked. It's like I'm so glad that we didn't get that. But again, good economy. We were able to get some tax breaks through that he's still trying to fight. Yeah, he's still trying. We had more money in the pocket. Gas was good. I remember this was, I want to say, because I used to make the runs from New York down to North Carolina at the time before I moved to the South. And I want to say this was probably about 2018. I was on I-78 in Pennsylvania, and I was watching all of these fucking houses go up, brand new houses go up on I-78. I was like, what the fuck? And then I hit Interstate 81 going south, right? And still in Pennsylvania, and I'm watching all of these new warehouses go up. And I was like, well, that wasn't there like fucking a year ago when I drove down this way. There wasn't even like a plot. Like it wasn't even like they didn't even break ground. And it was just like things were going up. And then on Interstate 81, okay, there's the what is that? What's the name of that trucking company? Is it Dominion? It's like one of the big truck it's a big trucking company. I think it's called Dominion. They have a warehouse there, and literally every single one of their bays were filled with trailers to push it on to get picked up and go to different places. So that's when I knew, wow, we're doing pretty good. And of course, gas and whatnot, was really, really good. I didn't have to I didn't have to worry about blowing my pockets and shit. The last administration was terrible making the runs down to North Carolina. It was absolutely horrible. So how did you feel? Like Annie, have you been to where you're at the whole time, you and your family? I don't remember. Have you been down to where you're at right now the whole time? You and your family? Yeah, we can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
No, we can't hear you.
Man.
We lost you.
Oh, we lost you.
That's the Obama Wi-Fi.
We lost your audio.
What'd you say, PR? What'd you say?
That's the Obama Wi-Fi, I think.
Might be.
Yo, click out, Annie. Just click out and come back in, and we'll go to you. We'll come back to you. That's fine. What about you? What about you, Scott? What do you remember from that night, man? Where were you at? Do you remember where you were at?
I don't remember the night because back then I wasn't political. I hadn't woken up yet.
Right.
I remember watching Trump, and I remember them making fun of him the whole time.
Yeah.
And nobody thought he was going to win, and I didn't think he was going to win. I voted for him, but
yeah,
I don't even remember watching. To be honest, that night I wasn't sitting there glued to the TV. I remember by the end of the night I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Right.
But what I remember is more than anything, I remember the immediate aftermath of the election when it was like he hadn't even started yet, and people were already talking impeachment.
Yes.
People were talking. We're gonna put him on trial. And I remember this is me. I was sitting in an office and people were just saying how much they hate him, and I'm like, what has he done?
Right. He hasn't even done anything.
I was like,
not even...
I said, and they're just like, oh, but he's horrible. But why? He hasn't even started yet.
Yeah.
This is before his inauguration.
Right.
Well, you got to give him a chance, right?
The main thing at that time was that he was grabbing people by the pussy at the time. So that was the biggest thing.
And so what?
He was literally grabbing snatch back in the day. He was snatching snatch.
That's all they had. It was just like, oh, he's just not president material.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
like,
immoral.
What the fuck is president? I was like, I remember getting into it with people at the office saying, "Are you kidding me? Clinton, all of these, JFK, all these people in the office. You tell me there hasn't been bullshit going on in the Oval Office? Stop it."
No, but it's weird. Like you say, presidential material. Yeah. And forever people complain that they're tired of the phony politician, the suit and tie, saying the same thing. Okay, you got someone totally different. Now you're complaining that you want that old thing back. I think these people love to be controlled. They love to be manipulated. No one really wants true freedom, because true freedom means you got to be independent, and you have to be, it's your consequences. You have to deal with the result of your consequences. And they don't want that. These people don't want that.
Yeah, it's an issue. With fucking, we'll bring Annie back up when she comes back in. Yeah, most people just they don't understand what it takes to keep freedom, right? You gotta have a voice, you gotta continue to do things and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, again, that was the biggest thing was the whole fucking, private fucking conversation he was having with someone that was recorded and shit, and whatnot. So that to me, I didn't even care, because I was like, well, I mean, he's a dude, right? At least he's not a fag. You know what I'm saying? He could be a fucking, he could be a twink, but he's not, but he's not, right? I was like, as a dude, I was like, well, I guess, he was doing his thing because he has the money and the power, and fucking people were coming to him and letting him do it. So it is what it is, It's not my life, it's his life.
You know what I'm saying? So what was it? Will Chamberlain could write a book about sleeping with 1,000 women. Or whatever the case is, but it's oh my God, you're talking about a rich billionaire from New York was a playboy? I'm offended. I'm like, get the hell out of here, you lying piece of crap. But also don't forget, during that time, even before he stepped foot in the office, you had the Obama and Clinton and them. They had they started spying on his campaign.
Yes,
they started putting spies on his campaign. And I'm like, oh shit,
absolutely.
I have never seen something where your own government went against you. I've never seen that. I was shocked. I'm like, You know, and watching how, just not to bring up all that, but just to see how people are acting now politically, I start questioning the past. I'm like, was this guy Nixon even that bad? Like, was I lied about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm starting to think
Yeah, he
about
wasn't.
everything.
He was. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't that bad. None of them were good, but like he
Right.
wasn't that bad
Right.
compared to yeah,
Well,
right.
it just made
Yeah,
me think about every other politician, but
yeah. Yeah, and but that's a good thing though. I will
yeah,
say that is a good thing to come out of it. That you start fucking going back and start
yeah,
okay rethinking about things, just touching base with stuff that maybe you haven't touched base with since you were in high school, right? When you were in U.S. government and shit, and
yeah.
they covered the Constitution in like 2 days, and fucking they skipped it and everything like that. It's crazy, man. I could. Scott and I, again, we talk about it because we're fucking, we're Gen Xers. I still remember, and this was even in the New York City public school system, they were still teaching civics.
Yeah.
Okay. Like in elementary school, we were still learning civics, right? And I got it in fucking junior high school. Then I left the city. Around eighth grade, I left. And I moved up to Rockland County and whatnot. I'm sorry, I went up there for high school. And I I realized then, like at most, I was an A student in New York and a C student up in Rockland, and realized how terrible my education was in the city of New York. Right, and this was someone who used to like to read history books and used to like to read and everything. I was so far behind that I just became a knucklehead and started cutting classes and shit like that and everything, and didn't do what I was supposed to do. Because I just didn't feel like I had the fucking smarts and but on top of that was like the shit I was learning in Rockland County was way different than what I had learned in New York City, right? And it was like apples and oranges when it came to history and everything like that. Like I was actually learning history, but I mean the good thing is that like my father is a history buff, so like my brothers and I, we learned a lot through him anyway, but it was just a complete different, like it was night and day what it was that we were learning, what I learned in the city compared to what I learned when I went up to the suburbs and whatnot. Is just complete different and everything. So yeah, the revisionist history was a thing that has been happening for a long time, with the Marxists. But again, remember what I said earlier, that they started infiltrating our institutions in the late 19th century, going into the 20th century. They have completely infiltrated our schools, universities, churches, fucking everything. Right now, they have absolutely destroyed they're doing a good job of destroying the fabric of the United States.
And you know what? And to build off of that, what it is, they destroyed the definition of words and language.
Yes.
So when you say certain words, the definitions don't mean the same. Now everyone uses the word, for instance, democracy as a good thing. You say the
Yeah.
word Marxist, no one knows what a Marxist is. You say these words.
Undocumented.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Undocumented. What is
Undocumented.
it?
Yeah.
What is it? The homeless people are now unhoused or something like that. Like they changed the definition.
Transients.
Yeah.
They're transients.
They
They're
changed the definition of
transients.
words. So they're
Yeah,
good.
they're transients now.
Say what you want about the left. They're good. They're good at marketing, and they're good
Oh,
at
very good.
convincing people. They're good. They're good at being evil. And
Because
we
they
gotta
play the
take.
long game.
We
They
gotta
play
take
the
a.
long game.
We gotta do that as well. We have to. We see. We try to, as the right. We try to be all sophisticated and stuff. No, bring it down to the lowest common denominator. Speak to the people on their level. People make fun of Trump. Oh, he speaks at a fifth grade level. He's talking to most of America.
I
You
know.
know, he's literally
It's
say
true.
what you want. He's talking to most of America. He's not trying to sound too smart, even though he
Yeah.
is smart.
Oh yeah.
It's genius.
Yeah, he's not. Remember how Obama used to try to articulate when he was on a teleprompter, he was fantastic, right?
Mhm.
But did you ever hear Obama off a teleprompter how
Yes.
fucking terrible he was? Okay, but like
I don't remember.
according to Joe Biden, he was it Joe Biden who said he can articulate really good? He's like
Oh, he's a
Oh
well
yeah,
He's
spoken young boy.
clean.
he's a clean black man. What's that clean? Yo,
He's
but you notice,
clean and articulate.
but no one
that's
gets
it. There it
mad.
is. It's
No
clean
one
and
gets mad with
articulate,
the open racism from
This
the
is
left.
so just demeaning.
No one gives
bro.
a shit, bro.
Such an articulate
Biden's
young boy.
history,
I can't even say what he
bro.
probably thought.
Bro,
I know Biden's history of being a fucking out and out racist. Okay, his
yo,
whole political fucking career, he would say racist shit, going back to like the
Mhm.
1970s and shit. All right, like he would come out his face all the time. Okay, all the fucking time, and that's how he felt, right? Because he just remember his mentor was a fucking was it a grand wizard, grand dragon, whatever
yeah,
the fuck
Grand
they call
Wizard.
those fucking losers.
Yeah,
Um, was it Dennis Byrd, is that his name? Byrd. I know his last name is Byrd from West
Robert
Virginia.
Byrd.
Robert
Byrd.
Byrd. There you go.
Robert Byrd. Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking Dennis. I don't care. Byrd. I knew his last name was Byrd. He was a scumbag. Who cares? Racist fuck, right? And he was good. I will say he was good at getting money to West Virginia, though. That's for sure. Everything in West Virginia is fucking named after this dude. Everything.
Seriously?
Yeah, I remember I was doing some training in fucking West Virginia, bro, and the building that I went into was named after him on a military installation, bro. No shit. I was like, holy fuck, man. This guy's just been he's been a racist his whole fucking life, and every building in freaking West Virginia was named after this dude. But that was Biden's mentor.
So the left didn't try to burn those buildings down? Shocking.
No. It's just because, right? So we know what the Democrats are, right? The party of the KKK, the party of slavery, party fucking Jim Crow and everything like that. We know that, right? But that's us because we understand history. We actually learned history, okay, and fucking paid attention to it. But they don't know that about themselves. Ask any fucking young Marxists on the street about their party that they're championing, and they can't tell you nothing. They can't tell you anything. They just because they don't know. But that's done deliberately. It's by design. The Marxists do that shit by design. They teach you what they want. They teach their kids what they want, and then leave out the fucking other shit, and they revise history. That's just what they do. I'll be right back, fam.
That's why, bro. They went after the orange man bad. They went after. It's odd to see the racist call somebody else a racist. Like that talking point is so dead now, and it's weird. So like coming here, so I'm on the train, and I'm like, okay, Trump's been in office for it's gonna be 10 years, not in office, but the Trump
In the public arena.
right.
Yeah, 10
So
years.
then I'm on my phone. I'm like, let me just write some stuff down that he's accomplished, and I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, I didn't finish. I'm like, Roe v. Wade, closing the border, mass deportation, rebuilt the military. Sorry, I'm just gonna read what I wrote, if you don't mind. Got NATO, not NATO. Paris Climate Accord, left, the tax cut, first step back, banned men from women's sports. It's like within 10 years, the Maha movement, energy independence, global peace deals, overhaul the VA, trade balance, deregulation. Sorry, bro, on my way here, I'm just writing. I'm like, I forgot everything because we forget everything he does. He does so much.
So much.
If you take it all together, bringing manufacturing back, SCOTUS, the judiciary, Space Force, he created a freaking new agency, bro. Freed hostages, walks into DMZ. We forget everything this man's done, and that's like 10% of what he's done.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit, bro. Like, this guy needs a freaking not Mount Rushmore. He needs his own mountain.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
He needs his own mountain.
It's true. He's just been. Listen, again, on this channel we will absolutely criticize shit that we disagree with because that's the way it's supposed to be. It's America. We should disagree with our leaders when we don't agree on what the fuck they're doing. But just like you just said, you just hit a litany of things that he did, and some of it was mixed in that he started, right off the jump, fucking this year, right from inauguration day. Freed the fucking J6ers, okay? Freed the fucking, freed the what do you call it? The religious people who they put in jail and shit like that and everything. He just doing things like you said, got hostages freed and whatever and everything, So it's the man is always working, okay? I have never seen my whole life of every president that I've lived through, since I fucking started thinking about politics as a kid. All right, I have never seen a president work the way he does. It's nonstop with him.
And
nonstop.
And his vacations are work too. Like he doesn't vacation. He go to vacation. He's making calls. He's doing everything. He's like, this guy does. He's a machine, bro.
Yeah, he is. He is. I mean, he could have freaking be vacationing like Joe Biden did. That dude was on a fucking beach, half dead, like fucking a weekend at Bernie's every other week.
Yeah, he's a cadaver.
Yeah.
Joe Biden. How many days have you been on vacation? 300 days?
No, every day. He vacationed in the White House. He did nothing. Remember?
Yeah.
He started at 11. His cap was at 2.
Right. He'd be done like by 1 o'clock.
Yeah, by 1, right? He was done. Like, who ran the country? And it's weird. It's like
the auto pen.
The auto pen won the fucking
right.
country.
The auto pen.
So the left. You're telling me that you would rather have a faceless leader, not knowing who's running a country, than Orange Man Bad. You may not like Orange Man Bad. At least you know what you're getting. When you had Biden, you had no idea who were making the decisions. No
Well,
one knew.
that is true. That is true. But you did know what you were getting if you knew who Joe Biden was, right? Like if you actually followed his fucking political career, okay. I mean, again, the dude was in politics since my birth, right? So like he has a long list of freaking no-nos and things not to do as a politician that you would know. You knew exactly what you were getting. General Mills, what is going on, brother? Good to see you, man. So we saw how decrepit he was prior to 2020, and we'll get into the steel. We'll start getting into the steel now, okay? But we saw that, right? Everybody fucking again. It was they hit him in a basement for crying out loud. He didn't even fucking campaign, all right? Because every time he came out and opened his mouth, all right, it just like dribble came out of his mouth, like he would be drooling and shit like that, like the fucking dementia patient that he is, you know. God forbid me, if anybody out there who has a family member that has dementia, I am not talking about your family. I'm sure you guys take care of them. Nobody has taken care of Joe Biden. It was straight up fucking elder abuse with him.
Yep, the basement, bro. That was the crazy strat. They tried to do it again this time around. They tried to hide Harris. Didn't work.
It didn't work.
Didn't work.
It didn't work. I think that there was just so much shit that happened under the last administration. It started with once the Chinese dropped their bioweapon on us and just fucked the world with COVID. Okay, it just started with that, right? Because when he took over, that's when he set the precedent for the states, right? He set the precedent for the blue state governors, okay, to fucking just be completely tyrannical.
Yep.
Right? Because he started doing it in the federal government first, and well, it wasn't even him really. We know he wasn't in charge. And then the blue state governors went fucking full tilt and did that shit. And we had Cuomo killing people in New York, Whitmer killing people in Michigan. I forgot Jonathan, who was the governor of Pennsylvania at the time? He killed
Wolf.
people too.
Was it Wolf?
I think the Wolf sounds familiar. My memory is absolutely terrible. So, once they're gone, I don't think about them. Thank you, Conserve Reality, Governor Wolf. He confirmed, conserve. What do you call it? Confirm that. So again, and then he set the precedent. These dickheads fucking went full tilt, doing shit. They were arresting people on beaches and shit in California.
Right.
I remember that.
Do you remember that? They were arresting people on beach. Dude was doing Tai Chi.
Annie, they didn't let anybody go to the gym.
I know. The dude was
Right. They didn't let people go to the gym.
Yeah.
Moms couldn't bring their kids to the playground.
Yeah. And you got to remember they put face diapers everywhere. You couldn't go see your ill grandparents or parents if they were in the nursing home or some shit like that, or in hospice or whatever like that. Okay, none of that shit. All that went bye-bye in those states. But I will never forget the dude doing Tai Chi on fucking a beach in California getting hemmed up. I was like, what? There's like nobody. There was literally nobody on the beach with him.
But it's funny. That sounds like everything you're saying sounds like something a king would do.
Yes.
And no one protested that. They enjoyed that. They enjoyed their king Democrat Party when they controlled their movement. They controlled everything. People lost their jobs, and they were fine with their kingdom, with their their rulers. Just saying.
Yeah, Murphy in New Jersey too. Thanks, Conserve.
Yes,
I forgot about that fuckneck in Jersey too. Yeah, that fucking snaggletooth fuck. I forgot about him.
His face is the worst. I hate his face.
Yeah, dude. He just had that fucking tooth that would talk to you and shit like that. That one side tooth. The shit was just like.
It's like I've never seen a stupid face before. It's a stupid face. I'm sorry.
That was a dumb. He did have a real fucking stupid face.
Stupid face.
It's true. It's just like he had that fucking like snaggletooth that would just talk to. It had a mind of its own and would just do shit on its own. It was just fucking horrendous, man. Yeah, I forgot. Thanks, Conserve, for forgot about Murphy, that dickhead. Again, but like you just said, right? Nobody came out to fucking protest that shit. Okay. Those of us that were trying to protest it, they shut down our fucking Instagram channels. They shut down YouTube. They shut down TikTok, Twitter, everything. Okay. Every fucking outlet that we had to fucking voice our opinions and to fight back, everybody who was trying to fight back got fucking shut down at that time.
And remember the left cheering that on? They cheered on the loss of free speech, bro. They were cheering it on. They're like, you shouldn't be able to push that propaganda. As right now they're complaining about kings. We were under the rule of a pseudo king, like you know what I'm saying? And everyone was cheering it on. I'm telling you, like I guarantee you, if we were all rounded up and thrown in camps, the left would have been like,
Bro, they were putting out.
Right.
Bro, Tim Walz had a fucking hotline for you to call your parents, call on your
Snitch on
parents
you.
and
Yep.
your fucking.
forgot about that.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He had a hotline for you to fucking rat on your fucking homies, man. So if you
Wasn't
know
he
if
the
you
one that sent the National Guard and was cleaning up
yes,
neighborhoods?
correct.
That was him.
To tell people to go back into their fucking homes.
I forgot about that. But that's the
Right?
left. We're gonna protect you, even if you don't like it.
Correct. But they're
Your
bitching about
safety.
fucking ICE trying to do their job and, Trump calling the National Guard out and the Marines out in fucking California. By the way, there's precedent for it because it's been done on several occasions here in the United States, including the most recent time was in 1992. Because I know I was in the Marine Corps and some of my boys got deployed fucking to Los Angeles, to fucking help quell the fucking riots there. So there's precedent for it, right? But they're bitching, they're out there because that's their new thing. Let's our cotton pickers and our fruit pickers, let's fucking because they're all racist. That's what they think of us,
Bro.
right? They think if you have brown skin that you're out there in a fucking cornfield, something like that, fucking swinging a sickle to cut fucking corn off a fucking husk and shit like that. It's just bullshit. It's all bullshit. And these idiots out there in the street that don't know any better, right? Okay, and then you got the motherfuckers who are complaining that they don't want to go back to their countries, but they came here in the first place. It's ridiculous with waving their flags and shit
Waving
like
the
that. It's
flag.
stupid.
Pisses me off. That pisses me off, bro. Like if you left your shitty country, you're willing to trek across the ocean, then go through miles of states from the south, cross this border, and then throw down the American flag and pick yours up. Why? You're willing to trek all that, put your life in jeopardy, to then say, "I love my country." No, you don't.
Yeah,
What are
you
you
want to know?
doing?
Yeah, because you didn't stay. You want to know why? Because the fucking tit got pulled back from them. All right, the tit got covered. All right, with Trump, he covered that up real quick. Put a fucking hey here, put the bra on, put a shirt on, and fucking walk away. Nobody's gonna be sucking from that tit anymore. All right, and that's what it comes down to. All these motherfuckers who were getting freaking SNAP and all that other shit that weigh 700 pounds and they can't get Doritos anymore and stuff like that and everything. That's what they're all bitching about. It all comes down to fucking the money they can't get anymore.
Agreed, 100%, bro. 100%.
And then, it's just insane. And by the way, why the fuck aren't any of these fucking people in these NGOs and Alex Soros who just fucking married Hillary's fucking side piece? Okay, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Why the fuck aren't we knocking on their doors for them funding all this shit? It's amazing to me that this shit is going on. It bugs the shit out of me.
Did I not see? I forgot which is what's the Spanish chick in the house, the cute one. I think she said that she was. They wanted to question George Soros about his funding.
Anna Paulina.
I mean, that's not true.
No.
I thought I saw her say that. No.
No.
Go ahead, Red Day.
Are you sure?
Squash that shit, Red
I've
Day.
been
Yeah,
Squash it.
figure out what's going on with that.
I have been freaking on a mission to just try to stop that rumor for the last week. People, David Harris posted that last week.
Yep.
The Hodge twins shared it, and there's absolutely nothing about it. If you follow me on Instagram, look at my first post from today.
Yeah.
It's Anna Paulina Lunar. I know because she's
Yeah.
and she talked about it, and it's this Chinese guy that they have subpoenaed somebody, but it's a Chinese guy. He's some billionaire, and he is pushing bullshit. I don't know how they know, but she went on Fox Morning News or whatever, and she called him out, and she said he has been formally subpoenaed. Everybody's sharing this meme that this guy and Soros have been. I'm like, no. There's no official in the Trump admin that has mentioned Soros as being behind it. We all think it, and we probably. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. Don't trust me. I'm not blind. I believe he's probably doing something, but they're not calling him out on it. And I don't even know how they would. You don't even think it's a U.S. citizen, right?
How do
you subpoena a non-U.S. citizen to come?
Isn't it weird that how can one person have so much influence in our government, for decades, and no one puts a stop to it?
When you're that rich, when you're a freaking multi-trillionaire. and you
Yeah,
run
you got
banks.
it. They all have insulation, man. They all got
Hmm.
insulation. Fucking
They don't even
lawyers.
worry about
Fucking.
where they
They
live.
don't worry about anything. Yeah, and it's not
They
even
could go
just
live like
lawyers.
a king.
Yeah,
They could go to any country. They go to Ethiopia and be a king somewhere in the middle of nowhere in Ethiopia. They'll have like a
and be
palatial mansion wherever they want to
and
be.
and be a real king.
Yeah, I mean anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, they have so much insulation, man, right now. That's part of the fucking problem that we have.
They've got like
Okay, with this shit
a
is
dozen
just that.
homes all around the world.
Yeah,
But
that these people are so insulated.
it goes to what you're saying is the long game because these people funded like to have all these DAs throughout different states and
Yep.
lawyers and so on and so forth. They play the long game, and while we're all here looking at presidency and we're looking at like governors, no one's looking at what they're doing in the local government. And
Yeah,
these
we
guys are in
talk
there
about that shit. Oh man,
funding the and then
We talk about that.
our problem is like I went to go vote locally the other day, empty as shit, empty as shit. And every time I go vote locally, and I'm like, and then we complain, oh, look at these rhinos we got. I'm like, the rhinos start from down here. You got to stop them at the local level because eventually they will build up and they'll become these big rhinos that you complained about later. You get them at the grassroots, but no one's there. No one's ever there. That's our party and our
that has
people.
been the problem with turnout. We have had a
Yeah,
problem with turnout for a very long time. That
yeah.
continues to be an issue. Red Day and I, we holler at this shit all the time about fucking local elections, right, Scott?
God.
We're
Oh
always
my
talking about
God.
how
Oh yeah,
important
we
local
do.
elections
We've
are. It's
already lost.
just,
They've already lost some seats. I think they already lost
yeah,
some. I don't know if it was federal, but some state seats
I think some
where they
state
had
seats for sure.
somebody. I don't know if it was
In
North Carolina.
red districts, they're
Yeah,
losing
red
fucking
districts.
seats.
Why? Because people didn't know there was an election.
Yeah,
And also, there are seats that are
That's
empty.
impossible.
There are
How
empty
is that
seats
possible?
from like on some of the lowest levels. There's seats everywhere that are open.
yeah.
You know?
And people just don't know about it though.
Yeah.
Again, it's not being involved, all right? And that has been a problem. It's a huge problem on our side for sure. Okay, is that we just stop paying attention to stuff, right? We've been screaming at the top of our lungs forever now that yeah, okay, Trump got elected, great, that's fine. But one, if he doesn't have the fucking workhorses to get the job done, nothing's gonna get done, and you see what's happening, right?
Yep.
And you got to get these guys early. Actually, Scott has said this a couple of times. When we were talking about it on the show, you got to get these guys early. And I've said that if you fucking elect somebody, it's easier to do someone who's in the House, right? Because they're every 2 years.
Right.
A senator every 6 years. All right, so you have to wait 6 years before you can vote one of these assholes out. All right, but if one of these fucking cookie conservatives, all right, it has run. And because think about it, they just get elected for the first time in their second year. By the end of their first year, they're already running to get elected in their second year.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so like you have to fucking pay attention to what they're doing. If you don't do anything at that point and get rid of them, and then get the next guy, and then get rid of him or her, whoever, and just keep doing that until they get it in their fucking skulls that if I run and don't do what my constituents say, these motherfuckers are gonna vote me out in the first 2 years. And if we don't do stuff like that and we don't pay attention, then we're fucking doomed as a nation. That is that we are supposed to keep them at bay. It's up to us. We have given so much power to the government. Okay, we have given so much fucking power to the government, all right, through not paying attention to these fucking morons, all right, and these fucking jackwagons in their circle jerks and fucking bukakis with each other and stuff like that. Not fucking because we don't pay attention to it. We know they're doing all this dumb shit, but we're not paying attention to it. All right, and it's going to continue to be like that. And I know, like you said earlier, the left is fantastic at organizing.
Oh, yeah.
They're a conglomerate of fucking of special interest groups that absolutely hate each other. But when it comes to being lockstep into something to fight us, they're fucking flawless at it.
Exactly. But it's funny, kind of. I know you were saying earlier that we were talking about like blue states. You're like, no, there's blue cities.
It's really blue cities, yeah.
And it just makes me think. I'm like, we have more power than they do. But sometimes when you're surrounded by all this blue, and then the media pushes nothing but propaganda, so you think you're literally surrounded by nothing but Democrats, when in actuality, most of your neighbors are probably on the right. But they don't know because everyone's afraid to share. I remember in Jersey when they started doing the MAGA drag races, and I'll be with them in the MAGA cars going through. You would see people coming out of their homes like shocked and bringing flags out of nowhere.
Right.
And I'm like, cheering. I'm like, oh, so they're there. You just gotta be the one in your town to be the vocal one, and they'll all come out. You know, we have strength in numbers, but we have real numbers, and when
We
that
do.
happens, they'll vote locally. But for
Yeah,
now, you know,
yeah, it's tough. It's just tough, man. We
yep.
keep wondering how fucking the perennial pendeja fucking AOC keeps getting elected in her. She doesn't even attend anything in her neighborhood, okay? But she keeps getting reelected.
Sorry, she was
All
snapping
right.
her neck the other day.
Yeah, she does.
So ghetto. Yo, why do people be the fake ghetto? Her and Jasmine Crockett. You seen Jasmine Crockett before she became ghetto? She was all proper. And now she's like, let me tell you something, girlfriend.
Yeah,
Like, where that come
Yeah,
from?
she went to fucking private
she's
schools
a
and shit
private
like
school
that.
princess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so is
yeah.
It's a
AOC.
front. It's all
Bro,
AOC
acting.
was
AOC
from
grew up in Westchester, man.
in Yorktown Heights. I know exactly
Yes,
because I
Yorktown Heights is an affluent fucking town in
bro, I
Westchester.
have family there. So when I go to Yorktown Heights, I'm like, look at this. She grew up in
Yes.
the Bronx. Get the hell out of here. I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's an affluent.
yes.
Yorktown Heights is a fucking proper neighborhood to grow up in,
They're
man.
all frauds.
They are, man. It's just all part of their fucking stick, and people suck it up. You know, the people suck it up.
Freaking leftists. I can't stand them. You know what's funny?
Leftists are disgusting.
But
Yeah.
you know what's crazy though? You about to jump into something though? I'm sorry.
No, no, no. I wanted to let's get Rula and Annie in and whatnot because we've been fucking running a
Oh,
little bit rough shots. I want to make sure the girls they could get their because I'm sure they got a lot of opinions too.
They're cosplaying characters.
Nah, nah. You guys, we brought you on to make sure that you guys can talk a little bit. So apologize. Go for it. Fucking. I know you guys got comments on the shit that we were talking about, especially with the stupidity on our side.
Well, it's Project 2025. I don't think we should
Maybe
allow them
Rilla
to
was
speak.
sleeping.
Rula, were you
Project
sleeping?
2025. You know, I'm upset. I still have to work. I still can drive. I didn't want to. I really wanted to lose my rights because I want to stay in the kitchen. I don't want to work. I'd rather be cooking and cleaning the house, but it didn't happen. So I'm really upset about that. I'm disappointed. I was
And
really
how,
hoping for 2025.
I'm sorry.
Project 25, 2025.
yeah. And how long were you waiting for that?
You know, I thought maybe I would give it 90 days because we need a transition, but I still have to go to work. And my boyfriend says I shouldn't drive. So I'm like, okay,
That's
maybe after this happens, I'll lose my driver's license, my right to drive, but I still have to drive.
one day,
So
Oh
one
my.
day, one day, one day. And I'm
What about you,
sorry.
Rula? You've
I'm
been
not
waiting
going
for.
to give up on my dream. I don't give up on my dream. So maybe it will happen one day.
What about you, Rula? Are you all
What?
in on Project 2025?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
Project
was
2025 with a bunch of bullshit.
I was willing to give up my right to vote just so the liberal chicks couldn't vote anymore.
sacrifice. I love it.
Yeah, I was willing to sacrifice for the better of the nation because I can see the big picture.
The only thing I wanted out of that was like they were like, slavery's gonna come back. I'm like, cool. Can we bring like make liberals our slaves? Because I would love to have liberal slaves because they're stupid.
No, I
I know,
want to
like
be back in
No,
chains,
actually, they
bro.
want us to be their slave.
I
They
know.
do.
You know what's funny though? Like I'm not the smartest guy in the world though. Like, but when I'm talking to a liberal, I feel like Einstein, bro. I'm like, I'm a freaking genius. You don't know what a man or a woman is, bro. Like my head is huge. Talking to a liberal, I'm like, I thought I was dumb in the projects. I was a stupid guy, but now I'm like I'm like I wear bow ties now, like Tucker Carlson. Like I'm a genius around you idiots. Sorry, guys.
Remember
I
Project
love talking to
2025.
them because
Go ahead,
you
Scott.
just talk to somebody. I was gonna say you just talk to somebody who's maybe I don't know what you want to call them. Just like say they're like still plugged in or whatever,
Yeah.
and they really just don't know like anything. Like they sit there and they'll watch their like local news at 6 p.m. and they think that they know what's going on.
Yep.
You know, you had like just we were having a conversation on Father's Day, and there was I stayed out of it. There was like a back and forth between two people at the table about the whole execution up in Minnesota, and I was just like, I was like, but yeah, did you know? did you know the details of the shooter? They're like, well, they shot a Democrat, so it's probably some Trump lover. I'm like, not
No.
really, no.
But what I'm
I'm
saying,
like, but why don't you know that?
bro, because we live in a world where everyone is just their meme researchers and headline researchers. I literally know people that get their information from memes. That's all they got. I'm dead ass. And they're like, oh, but I saw this. And they showed me. I'm like, bro, that's a meme. Or they'll show me the headline of an article. I'm like, did you read past the headline? No. Sometimes if you read past the headline, the facts are in the article.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
And they don't read it. They don't know how to decipher. This is why I tell people on the right, don't waste your time debating people on the left. It's not going to work. Use your energy to build new people that came into the fold. Teach them how to research, teach them, educate them, just teach them how to navigate this world. Use your energy on our people. Forget about the left. They're done. You know, because if you're getting your information from memes, you're a lost cause, bro. I'm done.
That's
Right. I don't even
Actually,
bother.
Annie and Rula, do you guys spend a lot of time on TikTok still?
I haven't been back on TikTok ever since they banned me.
Yeah. Okay.
So I haven't been trying to rebuild. Like,
Well, what I've noticed since the election, they have like gone like massive into these like bot accounts that now they just push out crap like all day, every day. And if you just go into your For You page, they're gonna doesn't matter what the For You page you have, it's just they're gonna like be in there. And it's just like the most ridiculous stuff. It's not people. It's just like they try to put them. You know how they say the left can't meme.
Yeah.
They just try to put the most ridiculous stuff. Like there was one the other day. I had to read it twice because like, did they really just say that? It was literally just a big statement that said, "Did you know that Jasmine Crockett's approval rating is now bigger than Trump's, Vance's, JD Vance, Elon Musk, and like three other people
Oh my God.
combined?" I'm like, what
are
does that
you
even
kidding
mean?
me?
It's like, what does that even mean? Combined? What the
Where's that data
Like,
coming
there's
from?
peop and there's people in the comments just saying, "Yeah, I believe it." I'm like,
Yes, Queen.
Yeah, slay, girl. Slay.
Hey.
A bunch of dumbass.
So stupid.
It's because they get their shit from a Reddit thread, and
like,
all of
it's
a
not even a
sudden they're
person. I believe it's just a bot
It's a
account. You know, I
bot.
don't even think it's
No.
real, but
You
it's
know
just
what's
so stupid that they're just constantly
bro?
throwing that shit out there.
I thought they were bot accounts, and I'm telling you, they're really that stupid. They're I am not even.
Sometimes.
I'm telling you, this is why I stopped debating on TikTok. Like I used to debate all the time. I'm like, I'm not getting nowhere. My last, like, what that broke the camel's back to straw was when the bloodbath hoax happened. So in
Ugh.
TikTok, you have like a panel, right? You bring people up, and they're like, "Yeah, he's talking about immigrants." I'm like, "Okay." I turned on my television, flipped the camera around, played the whole thing in its entirety, talking about the automobile industry, and then they said, "No, but he was thinking illegal immigrants." I'm saying, "I'm done. I'm done with you idiots." That was my last time debating. All I do now is go on there and roast them and mock them, and that's probably why I lose all my accounts. I lost like 8 accounts already in a year or in 8 months. So, but anyway.
I'm
Yeah,
not
like
anywhere near TikTok.
the left, like they can identify like 87 different genders, but now they can't identify what's illegal and what's the illegal immigrant.
I know.
Like they'll leave messages on my account saying Trump is going to deport you. Even when I made a whole stupid post like my family's been in the United States for 50 years now. They're
I
they're
got
going to
that today.
deport you.
I got that today.
But they don't even know.
They were in,
I hate
they
that
were in Tampa.
terminology.
Did you see
Undocumented
any?
citizens. Ugh.
What was that, Rula?
Undocumented citizen.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
yes.
like a
Sorry.
bullshit too.
They've been using that for
It's
a minute now.
illegal.
Did you
It's a
see?
criminal alien.
Did you see any of the clips? Did you see any of the clips from the Tampa No Kings rally or whatever?
No, I haven't.
Because there were some patriots. If you want to see some really funny shit, look on. I follow her. This girl, patriotic. I think it's patriotic underscore baddie.
Yeah, I started
She's
seeing her
this.
posts on Instagram
Okay.
come up.
Yep.
Yeah.
She was there, and she pretty much live streamed the whole thing, and she's got tons of clips from the thing. And these people were. She was with this other girl who were holding up like Trump signs because they didn't care. They were just like, we're going to be there to represent. And there's these of course always white liberals. These white female liberals were just like, Trump's going to deport you. And there's the Spanish girl that was with her was like, I was born here. I'm a citizen here. And she goes, well, that's not going to matter. They're going to deport you anyway. I'm like,
Right, right. I get that too. I'm like, I was born here. I was like,
okay.
they're like, you're not American. Like, I was born here.
Annie,
My
is that
parents are legal. And I was talking to my father yesterday, and I asked because he's up in Rochester, New York, and I asked him, I'm like, did you guys have any protests, the No King's Day? He's like, no, not really. And he's like, these people don't realize if it was a real king, they were protesting, they would just be shot. Because
Exactly.
because from my family, when the whole communist thing happened in Vietnam, one of my family members, my grandfather, he spoke out against the communist takeover, and they arrested him. And so I talk about this, and like the stupid liberals will come on my whatever and be an idiot. Like I try to explain, like you're lucky you could have the right to protest the government. I'm like, where we came from, if you did that, no one would see you ever again. And they don't understand. Like
Do you
the
think
white lip.
do you think a country like Saudi Arabia would permit a no kings rally across the country?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Shit. Try that
Good
shit
luck.
in Dubai.
Absolutely not.
Good luck. Oh, even UK, as bad as UK is right now, do you think they'd honestly permit
No.
a nationwide, no kings rally? I don't think
I don't
so.
know. They let a lot of shit fucking slide
Oh,
in the
UK.
UK right now.
I think they might draw the line at that. I think
That's true. They might
Maybe,
they might get
yeah.
pissed off about that.
unless all of the protesters were Muslim, and then they'd probably let them do it.
Let them
That's
do
true.
it. But they will arrest you now for social media in the UK.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. 100%. We actually had
Scary.
yeah, Tom Lee
police.
Boo's one of our contributors was what do you call it? He talked to us about that. It's a real thing.
He's moving to Tennessee to get the hell out of there.
Yep. He's leaving the UK. He was
Wow.
checking out land this last weekend in Tennessee.
Not the only one.
To build off of that, like how we were talking about words earlier, and you called him. They said he was like a king. So I was thinking earlier, I'm like, they try to use every word in the book to strike fear in the heart of the American people. None of it worked. First, he was a criminal, right? That didn't work. Then he was a tyrant. Then he was a Nazi. Then he was a dictator. And now he's a king or fascist. Now he's a king. They ran out of everything. The next thing is like he's the Antichrist. That is the last phase they have.
No, bro.
Like,
That's the
what
last
else
phase.
can they call him?
No, he won't get there yet. He still has to be called a sultan. He hasn't been
Oh,
called a
yeah.
sultan
Yep.
yet. He's not a sultan.
Our czar.
No, but don't you think a dictator and king is like the final straw?
No,
Yeah, bro.
don't make up more words.
Yeah, don't
Okay.
make more words up.
But
He's not going to be the Antichrist yet. He hasn't been a sultan. He's
Well,
not a fucking
he won't.
czar.
The
He's
people
not
that don't
emperor.
like him,
Yeah.
they don't believe in God, so they don't care if he's the Antichrist.
Yes,
but no,
exactly. They won't
but they
care.
will.
They won't care if he's the Antichrist.
No, they will. If Trump says God isn't real, these people will pick up Bibles and suddenly become freaking religious.
Because they'll do the
out of
opposite.
nowhere.
It's true.
They'll do the
I don't
opposite.
think so,
true.
because people on the left, they already look at saying like, oh well, you know what, we should have a demon as a
Yeah.
priest. We should be open to that.
Yeah.
If God
We
came
shouldn't restrict them.
Bro, if God came down and said, I anointed Donald J. Trump, they're like, oh, but what did you do to Satan? Didn't you cast him from heaven? Oh, no,
Yeah.
you did. And Jasmine Crockett.
What
like,
about Satan's rights?
yeah, yeah. Just
Fuck.
because he had horns, how dare you?
You treated Satan just like he was an illegal immigrant.
Exactly.
You're Satan phobic.
And his fucking and his transformer homie Beelzebub, you didn't fucking do anything. You didn't give him any rights either.
They'll protest at the gates of heaven. Tear down this wall. Tear down this gate. Why I gotta be pearly for? I'm sorry, I can go off on tangents. Sorry, guys.
Nah, bro, just go ahead, man. It's good.
It's just
There was a
like,
meme. There was a meme that said heaven has gates. Hell has open borders or something like that.
Some shit like that.
that
Yeah.
is
Right.
true.
That's true.
That is true. Again, these people,
It's so true.
anything Trump does, the opposite is truth to these people. Anything. I've never seen that in my life. Like, and I've made this comparison before. So remember during the Summer of Love, George Floyd, these people hated America. You know, they burnt the flag, ACAB everywhere, burning down buildings. They broke down the gates of the White House to go after Trump, like everything. You know what I'm saying? They had America's racist, right? J6 happened. Suddenly, oh my God. Oh, the Capitol, they were patriotic, but what
Yes,
about
they cream
what about the
themselves.
rule of law? And all this shit came out of nowhere. And then now they're back to burning the flag again.
Yep.
Like, my nigga, pick something. Pick one path, bro.
Pick a struggle.
Pisses me off, man. Like, at least we're consistent. You know? I'm an asshole no matter what. They switch it up.
Yeah, they try to silent asshole shit, but it just makes them a bigger asshole.
Exactly.
They're all fucking stupid.
But your
They're all
IQ
stupid.
drops when you listen to these fucking people.
Go ahead, ruler. Get going. We want a ruler rant tonight.
I'm just sitting there. When you talk to liberals, it's like your IQ drops, and it's
Here it
like,
goes.
wow.
Here it goes. Let's go.
You know what I said to one of them on TikTok? Your parents should have fucking swallowed you. And then, actually, one liberal was telling me, why don't you go back to Greece? I said, first of all, you dumbass. I was born here. My parents came to the United States legally, not illegally. My dad became American citizen. My mom obtained a green card. So go fuck yourself. Tell
Fucking
me to go
suck.
back to my parents' country.
They are the most racist people on the
They
planet.
are racist or assholes.
Yeah, and they think they're not, okay? They really think they're not, right? They just, they think they're not. Again, today some dude told me because my last name was Soto that I was next. Like as if the last name Soto 1 isn't common across every fucking Spanish speaking spectrum. Okay? It's a very common last name, all right? And 2, they know nothing about me. They know absolutely nothing about me. So I just I'd laugh at that shit. It's like, yeah, okay, I'm worried about fucking getting picked up by ICE because, my last name is Soto.
But you know how you know they're racist, bro? Because when you talk about illegal immigration, they only speak about
They only speak
Hispanic people.
Hispanic.
Yep.
That's
Yes.
it. That's it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, is that all you think about? And then you see these people on, in the Senate, in the House, in their committees, and they're like, who's gonna pick our fruit? Who's gonna pick our garden? Who was the other person recently that said who's gonna wipe our ass? Someone said that. Did you see
Someone
it?
said that. There was
Yes.
somebody
No,
in
someone
the,
was that
someone in the
Klobuchar?
house.
I forgot who it was. Someone who's gonna
Was
wipe
it,
I
our
was
don't know
it
if it was
Klobuchar
Klobuchar.
that
I
said
feel
that?
I feel like it was someone in the house.
bro.
It
Like,
was someone. No, it was definitely an elected Democrat.
but
Yeah.
I
Oh
thought these
my
people were.
God.
Who was it? I
He
thought these people
literally
were
said
against.
that.
Right. I mean, I thought they were against like a cheap labor. Oh,
Right.
Republicans are for cheap labor. Now they're like, we need to keep them for the cheap labor.
The
Pick
people.
one topic to support. You guys are all over the place.
It's the same people that are protesting for $30 an hour minimum wage are the same ones that want illegals. So
To
let's keep the
to
prices
work
down.
for
Well,
$5 an
it's
hour.
because they're cheap labor for them. That's why they
Right.
like
They
them.
want the slave labor.
Yeah.
But they hated
They don't
slave labor when they said it
understand.
was Republicans. This is the thing.
They don't understand how it works.
Yeah,
How
but it's
anything
not
works.
us that's trying to do slave
Specifically
labor. It's
economics.
them.
But bro, but we're trying to talk to people that don't know what a man or a woman is, that they can switch genders. Like, if you don't know the basics, bro, you're not gonna have this other conversation. None of this is gonna make sense if you don't know what a penis and a vagina is. You know what I'm saying? You don't. If you don't know that, everything else we're talking about is gonna be foreign to them. Let's get them back to the basics. Wee and wah-wahs, or whatever you want to call it, and hopefully they understand the basics, and then we can get and bring them up and learn to understand like about crossing the border and what's illegal and not illegal, because these
Yeah,
people
they still
are.
have. Hey, Victoria, it's nice to see you, honey. Yeah, they'll never get it. They don't want to get it. It's willful ignorance. In some cases, most cases actually, I think they do understand. They just don't give a fuck. They want it to be done the way they want it. That's it. It's their views, their values. That's what counts. Nobody else's does. And again, they bring up democracy, democracy, democracy. We don't fucking live in a
We're
democracy.
not a democracy.
We're a
Okay.
We're a
constitutional
constitutional
republic.
republic.
I hate that. Hate that.
Yeah.
I know, but it's the word now. It's like
There's a video that I'm working on where these four old ladies were at the rally like this weekend, and like literally like 2 seconds apart, they're like, "We need to protect democracy," and the other lady goes, "And we need to support everything that's in the Constitution." And I just wanted to be like, dude, There's no fucking democracy in the Constitution.
Nothing.
You know, when they tell
You know what you're talking about.
bro, when they tell me like, "Yo, Trump is gonna destroy democracy," I say, "Yeah, I hope so."
Hope
And they're
so.
like,
Oh,
and they're
please
like,
do.
in TikTok, they're like, "Oh, the maggot admitted it. The maggot." That's what they call it. The maggot admitted it. I'm like, "Yeah, let's destroy the please destroy
Yeah,
democracy. I do not want it."
if we actually had true democracy, it would be complete total fucking anarchy. We If we had true democracy here in the United States, Los Angeles and New York City would run the whole fucking country.
Yep, yep.
That would be a disaster.
Yeah, no one
But they
wants
don't
that shit.
understand. Again, it goes back to education. They don't. We have revisionist history that has been going on for a long time, and there's no civics being taught to anyone on any level anymore whatsoever. Maybe in some private schools, let me take that back. There might be some schools that actually do it, but I know it's not really being done in public. Maybe you know what? Maybe there is some good school systems out there that are actually teaching their kids civics. I'm sure it does exist somewhere. It's just not everywhere.
You
It's
gotta
not the majority.
you gotta think about the steps of indoctrination. So you start at school, right? And then everyone in school around you thinks the same. And then you get out into the real world, and then you got the media pushing the same propaganda. So it just continues. And when someone comes and tries to give you the red pill, you're like, what the hell is this? It doesn't make sense to me. So again, I kind of equate that to like my personal life, how it took me about, I was a liberal, whatever I was, so I, 2 seconds, let me just run this through. So I grew up in the projects, right? So if you live in the projects in Brooklyn, you know, so I had 7 floors, about seven apartments per floor. Let's say 70 apartments, right? So you got a couple of hundred people in one building, 4 buildings in one block or 5 blocks. So you got like 1,000 people here, 1,000 people. So you got a couple of thousand people in just a few block radius, right? Everyone thinking the same exact thing. The white man got us here. We're poor because the white man, the Republican. So you hear that, right? And I come around and everyone's thinking the same thing. So there's no way I can be wrong because I'm surrounded by the same people thinking the same thing, And then when someone tries to come out of left field, be like, hey, by the way, this isn't true. I'm like, what are you, stupid? Everyone knows this,
Yeah.
so that's why when I talk to the left, I kind of like have a little soft spot because I know the indoctrination is strong. And it took me about 10 years to transition from like a liberal to a conservative. It wasn't overnight. It was like chipping away,
Over
chipping away.
time.
So yeah, so just sometimes a little patience with the liberals, even though mocking them is good,
Yeah.
which I do. But
Rula, Annie, were you guys always conservative?
No.
I
Really?
never really paid attention to politics really until the whole COVID shutdown thing happened and George Floyd happened. And then things didn't make sense. Like I started to question things. Um, like when George Floyd happened, he had all these uh, funerals, but then my friend from work passed away from COVID and we had to do the funeral over Zoom. I'm like,
yeah,
this is not making sense. And when they told us to all stay home, but then it's okay to go protest for George Floyd, I'm like, this is not making sense. And then I started watching the press briefings with President Trump, and I'm like, I noticed like they were so mean to him. And I'm like, this is not making sense. So that's when I woke up and I saw things for how they were.
What about you,
So
Rula?
I started as a liberal, obviously typical in college. I voted for Obama 08, but I did not vote for him for 2012 because something told me that with the high gas prices and the jobs sucked back then. And I'm like, all right, Obama really sucked. Something's not right. So during around 2012, when I started my job at the group home, and I was like working third shift, and I looked up like crazy conspiracy stuff, like pedophilia in Hollywood and all that stuff, and that
Yeah.
was started my interest, and it came from there and more and more.
Right.
Yep.
And Annie, I'm sorry, you were going to say something. That you started seeing more stuff with the press briefings and whatnot. That just shit
right.
was just not right.
I'm like, why are they being so mean to him? And I was like thinking, wow, this is great. He's trying to tell us what's going on every day. So I appreciated it. But I couldn't understand why all the CNN people were being so mean to him. So I just stopped watching CNN, and then when the whole shutdown happened and I couldn't go to the gym, that didn't make sense to me. And also, when everybody started like attacking the Asian people,
Remember that shit?
Yeah, they were
yeah,
cool.
and like they tried to start like the Stop Asian Hate, but
Yep.
only a certain demographic was attacking the Asian people, so that
Correct.
disappeared.
Because it didn't
Yep.
fit the narrative.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Yep. You can't do that. You can't go against the black people. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, shit. Even the people, the community. Yeah, it's like you can't go against the community. Fortunately, there's enough of them now that are outspoken
Yep.
and pushing back against that shitty ass culture and whatnot. I listen. I grew up with hip hop and everything, right? Like I grew up with the birth of hip hop, okay, and got to listen to everything that has come out. And then like in the 2000s, early 2000s, going into the second decade of the fucking hip hop got turned to shit, and I stopped listening at that point, right? I still listen to my shit from the 90s and whatnot, right? So I grew up with the culture and everything, but never once did I want to go fucking shoot somebody up or anything like that, or just beat the shit out of someone for the sake of beating the shit out of them, beat up old people. None of that. I just, I was never into that type of stuff, and like I said, I grew up with that. So, but you're right, Annie. It was like you couldn't do anything. You can't say shit against the community and whatnot. And again, the Stop Asian Hate, like you said, there's only one demographic that was really beating the shit out of Asians on the West Coast and whatnot. And they again, it went against the narrative. As for me, I was never on that plantation. I grew up, fortunately, with conservative parents. I had my progressive time where I was a little mentally progressive. All kids go through that, right? Like as a teenager and into your early fucking 20s and stuff like that, you have some progressive thought and whatnot.
Right.
But I never strayed away too far. Um, never strayed away too far. But just like eventually, when I got to start traveling with the military and started to actually see the world and stuff like that and see how fucking good I actually had it, it made me appreciate things, and for me, it solidified after my tour in Iraq. After fucking dealing with the shit that I had to deal with in Iraq and everything like that, losing a fucking friend and everything, when I came back, I was just like, nah, I'll never give this shit up ever. I've seen the dregs of fucking humanity. Okay, and I see how bad humanity can get, and I will never give this country up for shit. And I'm a very proud, listen, I'm a proud fucking Boricua. I love being Puerto Rican. Okay, grew up going to the Puerto Rican Day Parade and everything like that when it was still about our culture. It stopped being about our culture in the 1990s and became just a fucking, a fest to just be stupid and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm sure it's probably better now. I heard it's a lot better now than it was in the 1990s.
I was there. I went for the first time this year. So in years. So I went to the
First
parade.
time.
So it
Wasn't
was,
there something about a bunch of Dominicans showed up and ruined it for everybody?
In the 1990s, it was some Dominicans and black dudes that ruined it for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah,
I got nothing
right.
against. I got friends who were black who were fucking upset that they couldn't go down there and have a good time. They're like, man, these fools, these idiots. You know what I'm saying? They just went because what happened was the reason it became a big thing was because they did it to a tourist. Because if they were doing it to fucking girls all up and down the street, okay, all up and down Fifth Avenue, this group was doing it to everybody, and it wasn't just them. There were other groups doing the same shit, okay, all up and down Fifth Avenue, right? But the reason it became a big thing because it was a foreign couple that was touring in New York, and they did it to a foreigner. Then it just fucking blew up, and they went ape shit. Then they just like they went from being able to fucking have cookouts in Central Park. They shut that shit down. Like the year after that, they were done with that stuff. So that's really why it fucking blew up, Scott.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yo, hold on. You know what's funny? I don't mean to transition if you don't mind. I was just thinking about something, if you don't mind. So we were talking about where we were when Trump first won, and it's funny when Trump won the second time.
Oh, I got a video for that. Before we ain't gonna get into that yet. I got a video for that.
I'll wait then. All right.
Yeah, we got a video for that.
All right. So
it's already 9:20. You should probably play it soon.
Yeah, I got a video for that. So
all right, go for it.
Yeah, because it's already 9:20. We got 40 minutes left, and that goes by quick.
All right.
Yeah, hang on. Let me delete this one. Here we go. All right. And here's part 2, fam. You guys saw part 1 in the beginning.
That this was not the end. It was only the beginning of our fight to rescue the American dream. And it's a word you don't use, 2 words. I don't want to be Joe. It's 2 words, American dream. That was not good what he did. There are a lot of bad things, like going to Idaho and saying, welcome to the state of Florida. I really love it. In order to make America great and glorious again, I am tonight announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
You got a campaign ending in chaos, and you got another campaign that was able to deploy 90,000 volunteers to knock on 3 million doors. Guys, the better campaign is going to win this one.
He's going to lose. It's not even going to be that close, actually. So I know everyone's talking about how close it's going to be, but they're just underrepresenting the women, and they're over-calculating because they've been embarrassed, the pollsters, twice.
What are we going to say to Donald Trump in November?
Bye, bye, bye.
He's never going to be president of the United States. Thank God he's not going to be that.
First of all, I'm not going to worry about it, Phil, because he's not going to win.
And he's asked me, why I was getting the champagne. And I said, because I'm going to be toasting Madam President tonight. And he just looked at me with kind of like a smirk on his face. And I said, she's going to win this, right? And he says, oh, well, it's very, very close. And I said, no, it's not.
The math has shown Donald Trump has no chance of winning in November of 24. He wouldn't even win Georgia.
Even though Donald Trump is going to claim victory, yeah, within a few hours, you're going to find out that's nonsense and that he lost badly.
All right, here it is, everybody. My final map. But I have to say, I'm not shy about putting 349 electoral votes in the lap of Harris. It's going to be a blowout.
Would people, in the light of this and all else that happened after the 2020 election, going to vote for him this time, who didn't the last time? Hard to believe.
We are one day away from this election, and I think a lot of people are going to be upset.
I would say take Harris over 270 electoral votes. This guy is a loser. He's fat. He's pathetic. He doesn't know where he is. He's confused. He's dazed. And I think people are going to see through that. And, a lot of these macho, guys, I don't think they think it's macho to attack women, attack Puerto Ricans. I mean, I don't think they're or blacks or anything else.
If you nominate Donald Trump as the Republican nominee, Joe Biden will win and Kamala Harris will become president. That's a fact. If Donald Trump becomes the Republican nominee, we will get a President Kamala Harris. You mark my words. He cannot win a general election. Donald Trump will not win the general election. You can have him win any primary you want. He will not win a general election. We will have a female president of the United States. It will either be me or it will be Kamala Harris.
There's not going to be a President Donald Trump. That's not going to happen.
All right, this election alert means we are getting to our first big poll closing. Here are our first projections. There, NBC News projects that Donald Trump has won the presidential election in Kentucky, Indiana. In West Virginia, Donald Trump is the winner. Florida, Tennessee, Missouri, Alabama, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Arkansas, Texas, North Dakota, South Dakota. NBC News also projects a winner in the Wyoming presidential race, Mississippi, Louisiana, Ohio, Kansas, Utah, Montana, Iowa, the state of Nebraska in the presidential contest, Idaho. The first swing state is North Carolina, going to Donald Trump. Donald Trump has prevailed in the presidential race in Georgia. Pennsylvania. NBC now projects he is the winner of Michigan and its 15 electoral votes.
Donald Trump is the winner in Alaska, picking up 3 more electoral votes.
Donald Trump has won the state of Wisconsin. He is the winner of this race and will return to the White House as this country's 47th president.
Hey, look what happened. Is this crazy?
Fucking love his laugh, man.
Yo, my God, I'm telling you. That shit
Oh,
was
that
the,
was the best.
I'm telling you.
Ruler, you're cutting in and out, hon.
Yeah, Ruler.
Am I in? Can you hear me?
You're good. I got you now. We got you now.
Okay.
I love him, man. He just disappeared. I just like, where the hell did he go? He was fucking. His posts were awesome, man. Oh,
So what I would say though, bro, is like after he won this last time, I swear to you, when I no lie, I swear to God, when I opened up my eyes in the morning, I had a big smile, right? And I don't know if I was happy that he won it and the country was gonna get better, or that I knew liberals were gonna be pissed off, really angry. And I think it was more happier there were angry liberals than that the country was gonna get better. Like I swear, because all the shit they put us through, especially the past 8 years, and all the nonsense they were talking, and I'm in your face, and I'm like, I don't care if the country gets better. As long as the liberals are angry, I'm just that was the greatest win for me in my life. Know that they're pissed off. And I know I could walk by with a big smile, red hat. That's the greatest.
We're swimming in the liberal tears.
Oh, it's a beautiful thing.
Beautiful.
Yo.
You know what we had this time around though that we didn't have in 2016? We didn't really have a Gen Z thing going on because they weren't really that old yet. But this time we did 8 years later, and it was all about the vibe check and all the Kamala has the riz that we want in the White House. I'm like,
There is.
There is. Yeah.
No cap.
Yeah. The Riz. Like fucking Riz. Oh my God. I can't believe she was just the worst. Oh my God. I'm so glad we didn't get her. I'm so glad we didn't get her.
No, I mean
Yeah.
she would. I think she would have stopped wars because that laugh of
Yeah.
hers, they would have put it like in a sonic sound. It would have just ended all wars. Like I can't hear her voice.
Ruler, how was that throw up again? How was that? How'd it go? This is Ruler right there. There's Ruler.
That's awesome.
Fucking. I'm so
can you
glad.
imagine?
Yeah, I know.
Imagine her like going to trying to deal with Israel and Iran right now. I mean, like
Oh my God.
or going to the G7. Like she wouldn't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I'm speaking.
Yeah. She'd have to go and fucking get in the middle of an Eiffel Tower in order to get anything to fucking work.
This is AI. It starts with an A and it ends with an I. And there's a cloud in the sky.
And the left is like this genius. Genius.
That was good, Annie. That was good. Starts with an A and ends with an I. Yo, she was like they're talking about in the chat. She spent $2 billion fucking dollars. Conserve Reality's dropping that in the chat. He's 100% correct.
Yeah. And she still in the red.
Yeah, it still owns. She still owes rent on that shit.
Yeah, she owed $20 million.
She got fucking. She's got that Rent-A-Center fucking tab that she has to pick up and pay.
It's a Rent-A-Center. Damn, you straight Brooklyn, bro. Damn. Okay.
Rack. It's that rack.
You rack.
The rack.
Rent-A-Center. You rack.
Yes. Wow.
My favorite one was when Joe Rogan was making fun of her. He was like the whole time rant. She's like, because time is fleeting, and it's time and time and time, and that's why we all wear watches.
What?
Joe Rogan was making fun of her. Yeah, he had a great little rant. This is how Kamala talks.
She's the fucking worst. Man, we really, guys, we lucked out.
We lucked out.
So fucking lucked out. Okay.
Wait, by the way, so Trump beat 2 women, FYI. So
Great. That's great.
Yeah, he did.
And liberals still will try to hang on to that and say like, well, Trump couldn't beat a man. I'm like, wait, so you're putting down women? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. Trump. Yeah, he couldn't beat a man. Well, he couldn't beat a man because in 2020 they stole it.
Yeah,
they fucking stole the election in 2020.
But
in 2024 was too big to rig anyway.
Yeah, then we just had the momentum, like Scott hit, like the Gen Z momentum we got. Gen X, we came out in fucking droves.
Oh, Gen X killed.
We came out in droves.
Oh.
We got off our asses and we're like, we're done being quiet about shit. It's time to fucking, we got to start changing shit.
And
You know,
also
And
no
now,
cope.
hopefully, that the millennials are getting a little bit older.
Yeah.
I think the millennial support is starting to come down a little bit.
I'm a millennial.
Starting to drop. The millennials.
I am. I'm 38.
Yeah.
I will say though, since there was no Wuhan virus again, I don't use COVID because remember they changed the language. It was actually Wuhan virus until the left changed. They made it racist, so there was no Wuhan virus.
Coronavirus.
Yeah, coronavirus. Who was that? Who was it?
Cardi B.
Yeah, coronavirus. I forgot about that shit. Yo, but I mean, what I will say, man, I know we call out Trump when he does his things, right? But this is my personal opinion. I'm gonna let a lot of shit slide because I have never seen one man, bro, go. This man, think about everything he went through. I'm not even talking about the daily fake news, like lies about him. Like it was like hundreds. Like I lost count. The man, they spied on him. They arrested his lawyers. They arrested his people on his cabinet. They freaking impeached him twice. They had spies set up in his campaign, leaking information day and night. Then they freaking raided his home. Bro, they impeached, they freaking
arrested him, bro.
Arrested him.
They shot him.
They got a
They
mugshot.
shot him.
They
Shot him.
shot him. And the man is
Dude,
still
do you
there.
realize?
You know what I'm saying?
I still go back and watch that clip, and like I seriously start to tear up, thinking how close we came to like being fucked.
Yeah.
Bro, and then it's like, and after that, and I'm like, the man is willing to sacrifice his wealth, his family, his life for our country. The man could have been like, after the first time, you know what? I did the best I could. I'm gonna walk away. You did a good job. They stole the election. I forgot about that. They stole an election from him. The man is still fighting. So I'm cool.
It's probably the best thing that actually happened to us was that election got fucking stolen. Okay, because it's just been, we learned a lot during those fucking these last 4 years. Okay, prior to the election and everything, we went through a lot. We endured a lot. And like you said, we were putting up with shit for 8 years, and we finally just were like, enough's enough.
Yep.
But again, the fight doesn't stop with him. We have to continue this fight. It's I think people are fucking complacent already, and we're just like half a year in, and people are already complacent.
Yeah. Again, that's why I give him he gets all leeway. He can grab him by the pussy. I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying?
You don't care.
Do what you want, my G. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're willing to lose your life for this country, I mean, that's how much this country means to him, bro. Willing to put your life on the line. No one does that. These politicians, they talk all that shit. No one is willing to put their reputation on the line. This man is willing to put his life on the line. You know what I'm saying? So I don't give a damn what he does. He could make mistakes. I'm not gonna fault him for that. You got these half-ass people in politics that talk a good game. They go into politics. They raise their hand, swear to uphold the Constitution. They put their hands down and they shit all over the country.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I'm done with these people. I hate half the Republican Party. Maybe 80% of them can't stand the Democrat Party. You know what I'm saying? They're all full of shit. So I'm gonna ride with the one dude, man. Hopefully, more people will be like him coming forward. More politicians.
It's a shame because we had a lot of momentum after this last election, but these half a fag fucking cookie conservatives, they're just fucking everything up, and they just don't want to give him a win. We said earlier about some of these dudes that he trolled in 2015 and 2016 and fucking beat him into the dirt. During those last primaries, they're still holding a grudge against him, and many of those people are still in their seats in the fucking House and the Senate, and they just whatever they can to just fuck him over. They don't care. It's just like I'm standing on business, right? And it sounds great, but then when you think about all the shit they let slide, fucking under Biden and everything like that, it just fucking pisses you off. It's like you just guys don't want to give him a win. And by not giving him a win, you're losing all the momentum is almost gone at this point. It's pretty much it's just like almost completely fizzled out. And unless we can give the people a couple of wins, for the rest of the year, we need at least fucking 2 wins the rest of the year. All right, 2 big wins the rest of the year. Really, we should have at least 3. There were at least 3 things that we could fucking do, right? The Democrats, they're not going to be in control until after the 2026 election, right? Because we had an opportunity to not only keep control but increase our lead, but we fucking squandered that. Okay, we've absolutely squandered that by not doing anything. So, if we can give the people 2 wins, maybe we can get some of that back.
Don't
But I
lose,
don't know.
don't lose all hope. Don't lose all hope. 2026 is not lost. Not yet.
It's almost. We're
His
fucking it up,
approval
though.
keeps going up. Even with all
his
this shit
approval.
going on, his
Yeah.
approval keeps going up. And, depending on if we can actually knock some of these rhinos out, that's what we need to do in the primaries.
That's the key.
That's going to start soon. So
That's the key.
we should do a couple of shows where we just go through every rep or senator or whatever and just be like, who's up, whose seat is like open that we need to clear
We
out.
can do that. We can find out what senators are up, what Republican senators are up for election in 2020,
Look at their
re-election in
voting record.
2026, and what their voting record is, and fucking go through it. And it's again, it's just some of these dudes, they're just personal fucking vendetta and egos. They just can't get past that, and they may very well have good records, right? But because they just don't want to give him a win, all right, they're willing to fuck everybody over and the whole party over it, and that's what gets to me, is
Right?
that Go ahead, Annie.
They care more about their personal beef than what's best for the country.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will just kind of like expand on that, because I think a lot of it also there's 2 different views right now, right? These people, they're playing, they're doing regular politics. They're doing their politics between the 2 to 4 and 6 years. That's all they're doing. Trump is like, I'm not doing politics. I'm doing the long game. I'm
He's
doing
trying
the
to.
future of America. These people are looking. They're looking in a small box. Trump is looking long term. So that's where the collision happens. They're like, oh, but why do you want to do this? But we have to preserve America. So they don't see the future.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you know what I'm saying? So that's the problem. These people just want to play the same thing, do politics as usual, continue spending, continue outsourcing our jobs, and just give everything away to the radical lefts and communists and Marxists. That's it. And that's the problem here.
The uniparty is a real fucking problem, man.
It is.
It's a real fucking problem. Gabriella, it looks like you had something to say.
Oh no, I'm just listening.
Oh, I saw your thing. I saw your you blinked. So I was like, oh, okay, I think she's saying something.
We still haven't gotten a Malacca out of really.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we want to get some of that fucking, let's get some fucking dried grape leaves out of you real quick.
Fucking Malacas. Oh.
You know what? One of the problems with the freaking House and Senate is that we have to like make progress with like these spending bills and everything.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get a perfect bill in one step. We have to.
Can you remember in your lifetime when there was ever a perfect bill?
It's never perfect.
See, but this is. I'm sorry.
We have to get to that. Let's say we have to keep pushing towards that. It's not a one-step thing. It's like with everything, we have to pass these, things. For example, like abortion. You're not going to go from like, this where we are now to like 100% no abortion in one whole step. It's going to be gradual.
Right.
And none of the reps and senators want to vote for anything unless they're getting something. So when you have these people that literally are all in it for themselves, they'll say it's all for my people, my district. They're in it for themselves. They're in for the legacy. They're in it for power. And if they don't get what they like, they'll just shit all over the whole thing. Say, nope, I would refuse to vote for this bill. It's the worst bill ever. It's not the worst bill ever.
They're just
it's just
no
not
personal
something you
incentives.
But I will say though, if the Republicans are in charge, what is it that each Republican in the House is adding? Because I saw today, I don't know who was it in the Senate that was complaining. I think he was, I forgot what podcast, saying there was still some Green New Deal stuff in there.
What?
Like, why did it leave the House? And there's still, I think it was on the Charlie Kirk show today. Talking about there's still some Green New Deal stuff, and they want to take it out in the Senate. So my question is, how is it leaving the House with Green New Deal stuff?
Yeah, but they can fucking send it. That's just it. They can send it back. That's just it, right? Like they could just send it back. This is got. We're not going to vote on this. Yeah, it shouldn't get
not-
there. You're
Like
100%.
I just said, it's
Yeah.
not going to be 100%. They were
Correct.
trying to reach across the aisle and say, listen, we know first of all, it doesn't matter if there's Green New Deal shit in there, because what's going on? They're cutting all of these things, right?
Yep.
It doesn't matter, and regardless of what's, I don't think people understand. Just because it's in the spending bill doesn't mean that it's even going to get to its finish line.
Right. They had the
Right?
precision
Trump-
cuts and stuff like that.
Trump has discretion to like freaking reroute funding and everything like that and cut funding. He's
Yeah.
already shown the will to do that. So, you know, they were trying to, I don't know if they even were able to get any actual votes from the Democrats. They were trying to do it. They're trying to make it not seem so severe, because don't forget that the transition that we went into, that green energy crap, we have to transition out of it, you know, because it's the same thing. It's not like you don't tell the oil companies, okay, stop pumping oil tomorrow.
Right.
You know, you have to gradually. Well, for all the investments and everything, gradually get out of it. That's why there's going to be residual until maybe like 2 spending bills from now. Maybe it'll be all 100% gone, because you want to give them time to say, okay, well, people got to find new jobs, or people got to retool their businesses, whatever. They were pushing crap on people that it was a big joke. I mean, that there was a shipping company out of Chicago, I think it was, that they were Pritzker was trying to tell them that they had to switch to all green or electric vehicles. The grid couldn't even support it.
Correct. The grid in the country
Yet they
can't support that.
Yeah, but the grid specifically, where they were like in a place like Chicago, where they were mandating it really hard.
I know.
Like
they can't support it.
For this one company, they didn't have the grid to even support this one company, and yet they're trying to say that the whole city has to do it. It's ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
It's just a buck Trump in
Better
the
than
face.
that, they're trying to get out of it slower than went into it. That's all.
Yeah, it did get rammed down our throats. They forced our car companies to fucking, pivot to what cars they were making and everything. And you're actually already seeing it in the American car industry. They're already pivoting back to fucking gas engines and stuff like that. And
They were
diesel
doing that
and
before
whatnot.
Trump.
Yeah. They were already.
There was a
they
couple
were actually-
companies that they said.
Yeah.
I think they said certain models, like certain hybrid models, just weren't selling. They were just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're done.
They were giving them away practically.
Yeah. They were sitting on lots and whatnot. So,
Yep.
And California fucked them all over, right?
Yep.
California is saying, what is it now?
They said they were going to stop selling gas cars
by 2035
they
or some shit like that, or
they said that, but California, remember, they were giving them all these credits, tax credits for having a hybrid or having an electric vehicle, and now California is passing the mileage tax, which is basically a slap in the face to all the people. They were like, oh, I thought I was getting all these tax breaks for having an electric vehicle. Now it's all going away. It's all going away.
I'm getting taxed on my mileage now, so it doesn't make a difference. It's not. It's what do you call it? It's fucking equalizing it. So all the tax credits that they were getting on EV mandates are going bye because like it's just getting equalized.
Because they weren't making any money from it.
Yeah.
They're in the deficit.
Yeah, the EV mandates, like Jonathan said, were absolutely fucking stupid and retarded. It's just ridiculous. They were just absolutely retarded. That all got fucking crammed in the last administration. But no, I'm with you on that. We talked about this, that these Republicans they talk about going scorched earth on shit, but that's just not how it's gonna happen. It's just not. It's not. It took all this time to get us where we're at right now. It's not gonna take overnight. Snap of the fingers and we're gonna just Thanos shit. That's just not how it works.
I had to tell someone this morning. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I said, could some of the spending have been better? Yeah, absolutely, but it's just not going to get there. I'm just upset, like I said, because of the momentum. Yeah.
I was trying to explain to someone this morning because they were shitting all over Cash Patel and bonding.
Oh my god, I hate that.
They're not going after Soros, or they're not gonna go after these people who are funding all the riots. And I'm like, well, first of all, it just happened like this past weekend.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are they supposed to do? I was like, do you realize, like, if you think about somebody like in the mafia, being like a kingpin or something like that,
It's insulated. They're insulated, man.
yeah, it takes years. If I've learned nothing from The Sopranos, it takes years to build these cases against these kingpins. That's what these are. These Soroses of the world. Did you
The
think they
RICO
wrote a
cases
check?
and stuff that.
Did you think they wrote a check from their personal bank account? Hell no. They're like
absolutely
fucking
not.
29, laundering transactions around. And they've got shell companies and things, it's gonna honestly, if you're really gonna take down a whale like that, it's gonna take at least a couple of years. I'm not even especially when you have the whole system going up against you. Do you think any judges are gonna go with your circumstantial evidence right now?
No.
It can't seem like we can't count on any judges anywhere.
Right. That's true.
Exactly.
That is true.
So you don't want to freaking you don't want to like go for it just jerk reaction or knee jerk reaction and then have it fall apart and say nope, sorry, I'm throwing your case out.
And it will fall apart
make it stick.
and yeah, it would fall apart and they'll dismiss it with fucking, prejudice and shit.
With prejudice, you can't even do it. Yep.
And you can't even
do it.
And
then they'll really look stupid.
Yeah, and then it really looks stupid.
Seriously, measure, then cut.
That's one of my pet peeves that I have. Like as soon as because you scroll through X and you see all these people, oh, where's Pam Bondi? And like within 2 weeks. And I'm like, they just got it. Do you know what the job is? Some of these people probably never worked. They don't know that it literally takes time. You think they sit down, they have only one thing? Pam Bondi's running multiple agencies. If you're in the FBI, you got tons of cases. You need to learn how to, give your energy to each case, while at the same time, you're working on the bigger cases. You're not gonna tell everybody right away, hey, here goes everything with Epstein. What if there's people in there they're trying to, like you said, put cases against? You can't put those names out. You need to. They gotta take their time and build it. Like you said, it has to stick. But these people, they want everything. I'm talking about people on the right. They want everything overnight, and that is not gonna happen. Especially when it comes to try to expose people, put people in jail. It's not gonna happen. You gotta wait.
And they're still fighting. They're still fighting the deep state within, right? Like they're just like
the DOJ is still full of people that are not even working with them.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So like it's a tough fucking battle, man. I don't envy them. I know that the job is terrible. I know we want things. It's because how we feel about certain things and certain people. We want to see that shit fucking, what do you call it? We want to see things happen like immediately. Like I said, Thanos shit. But the reality is that's not how it gets down.
Right.
It's it just is what it is, man. And it's fucking slow moving.
Yeah, we just have to believe that they're trying.
Yeah,
we have to believe that they're trying.
We gotta hope. Even if you don't necessarily feel it in your heart or believe it, you should really actually try to have some hope, because in the end the results will show itself, right? Like because they're only going to be there for 4 years. So if there's no real results, okay.
Don't just say no. Don't say no. 4 years, dude. Not 4 years. Vance 2028.
No, I'm talking about Pam Bondi and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'm not talking
about.
about.
If Vance is there, they're going to continue. I'm saying these people are going to continue.
You hope
Vance
so,
isn't
right?
going to come on.
You hope so because
see.
we'll hope.
I'm just saying it's possible.
So.
It's not automatically. Right. Even if
True.
Vance wins, I'm sure there'll be a couple people that'll probably retire.
Yeah. Well, what we hope is that what Kash Patel is doing, trying to redirect the FBI to doing what it's supposed to be doing. Okay, not the bullshit that they were doing fucking forever now. We got to hope that comes to fruition at some point.
Rula, I know you watch my weekly recaps.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if these other two folks do. But I mean, look at the easy fruit that they're going after every single week since they've gotten in, right? They're going after a restaurant in California that's not serving Jewish people. They're going after schools that are making girls have boys in their restrooms. They're going after. They're suing all of these states that are doing this shit that we don't like.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of stuff that is clear cut safe because that's already been case lawed and civil libertied out.
Yeah,
that stuff is easy. That's just and under Biden were they doing any of that shit?
Yeah,
no, they weren't. Absolutely not.
Absolutely opposite. So I mean, they're doing a lot of good stuff on the ground. It's the big stuff it's gonna have to come later. They have to build those cases up,
and it's gonna take its time. It's gonna take a while.
Exactly.
Unfortunately.
No.
Unfortunate,
Well,
but
you know,
Guy,
if
but
you do it right, if you're doing it correctly, it's not gonna fucking happen overnight, right? Like we saw what the last administration did. They just fucking put people behind bars, but they had they had the judges to fucking take care of it, right? The corruption was real. They were able to move at a quicker pace. Can't do it with us. Like, you know, we don't have the
to
fucking
be
judges in
honest,
DC to fucking do it.
you know what? To be honest, that's what the Biden admin did. They did things knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that's why a lot of that stuff you were thinking, shit, these judges are actually, there was judges that were smacking the Biden admin down when it came to the border and stuff like that.
There
And
were
even
definitely.
in the end with like COVID, they were, look, the Bruin decision
Yep,
that happened under Biden.
it did.
With even Roe v. Wade that happened under Biden.
Yep.
How the fuck did that happen?
Yeah.
They didn't prepare it right. That's
Yeah, no, you're right, because they were
So-
doing things roughshod and everything like that, and they
Mhm.
where they got away with fucking you know putting away the people that they wanted, right? They're enemies of their state, okay. With other things they didn't get away with. You're right, Scott. You're absolutely right. They didn't get away with everything. They got away with a
No, they
lot, but they didn't get away with
There were
everything.
some things that were just amazing. When the
Yeah.
Republicans didn't even have a majority, it was like, what the hell? We're getting some wins here.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Some, not nearly a lot, but we got a handful.
Yeah, you know, they are picking up fucking pedos and all kinds of stuff. You
Yep,
know,
they are.
I've reported on more than one occasion that the FBI has picked up, you know, what do you call it? They've gone after they are fucking trying to buckle down on the human trafficking again, because that was something that they were actually doing in the first term. Okay, a lot of people forget that they were actually very heavy on the human trafficking. They fucking destroyed MS-13. Okay, they destroyed MS-13
Did we forget during Trump's first term? There's a reason why Craigslist doesn't have a freaking sex page anymore.
Yep.
They shut that shit down.
Mm-hmm.
That was under Trump's first term.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So like, no, you guys are right. Like, you know, there's definitely, I know that there are things getting done. It's just, you know how it is, man. Everybody wants everything done right away. They want everything Thanos. That's just not how it's going to happen. And because, like you said, under the last administration, there were some things that they did fucking full tilt, full speed, and they ended up getting smacked down by some judges.
And if you're in a blue state, like unfortunately Rula,
Oh,
Yeah.
you're not gonna see the light. You're gonna see the light slower than say like Annie and me down here in Florida.
Yep.
You know, we're seeing a lot more sunshine down here, metaphorically.
Yeah.
you
I
guys
get a lot of
have sun. I
sunshine
never
too where
see
I'm
sun
at.
in my state ever.
Oh, you got to, you know, I had to pull out where I was at. I was just like, I'm done. I'm tapping out. It's the end.
I'm still stuck in the blue state. I'm still stuck. I'm New York all day, bro.
Oh
Unfortunately.
my God, it's starting to rain. Fuck.
Yeah.
Annie,
But-
are you in a blue area of Florida or are you in a red area?
I'm in Broward County, so
Okay, so it's getting turning more
Looking
red,
redder.
not redder, right?
well, in the last
Well,
election,
I'm-
Broward County was blue.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's
But it's with the Florida thing, you know how DeSantis says that if anybody would block the traffic for
Yeah.
the protesters. So
run 'em
I don't
over.
know where I post, like, I always make like stupid jokes online responding to posts. Like, I'm like, okay, in Florida, people that protest in the street, they identify as a speed/bump. And so then the left is like, are you condoning violence? I'm like, you're saying we condone violence? You guys wanted to kill my president.
Exactly.
That's the voice right there.
Yeah. Shit, they even killed their own people. They killed their own people up in
Right.
Minnesota just because they
Minnesota.
disagreed. They disagreed with them and they went and killed fucking their own people. You know? Dude had a fucking list, okay, of politicians that he wanted to fucking murk. All right? So like, you know, they're the violent side. They're the ones
Right.
that condone violence and whatnot.
It's mostly
You know?
peaceful. It's mostly peaceful violence, though.
Yeah,
Mostly
mostly
peaceful
peaceful.
violence.
Yeah.
Yeah, peaceful violence, my ass.
Yeah. Only peaceful violence.
Mostly
Yeah, it's true.
peaceful.
We're hurting you
bricks.
with love. Sorry,
Yeah.
Annie.
Yeah, mostly peaceful bricks and
Yeah. Yeah.
and fires.
Punches of love. Like I
Those
love.
yeah. They're
But you know what's funny? They're only
bricks of consolation and whatnot. So if you smash someone over the head, they get consoled.
exactly. But you notice they're only tough in crowds. If you see them one on one, they do nothing. Because
they do. They do.
bro, I wear my MAGA hat. I've worn it up and down New York. I've worn it in New Jersey. No one says anything to me. But they're like, oh, if I ever catch you in the streets with that, I'm like, okay. And I walk around and no one says the damn thing to me.
Yeah.
So
They're
it's all
keyboard commandos.
that's it. They're all tough.
They're weak.
Yeah.
And it's always the white liberal. To say.
Yeah. I and the awfuls, the angry white fucking affluent fucking affluent white female liberals and the lokes, the lesbians of color. They're fucking they talk to fucking they're always talking shit to people. It's just sad, man. What are you gonna do? Like I said, I just stopped paying attention to them at this point. They don't do anything to get under my skin anymore. I used to just get I used to get so livid, man, just with these motherfucking rat fuck bastards. Fuck you. You could get back on your chupacabra and ride that motherfucker off a cliff straight to the fucking one of the 9 hells and shit. Not anymore, man. I don't even care. It's like,
Bro.
fuck you. You're gonna continue to live your miserable life. I'm not. I'm gonna enjoy life where I'm at right now.
Bro, I remember we did a rally in front of Trump Towers during, when Trump was running the second time, during the whole Black Lives Matter thing, right? So that's when they painted Black Lives Matter in front of Trump Tower,
Yeah.
De Blasio. So, bro, it was a Trump rally and it was mostly blacks and Hispanics, right? It was about 200 of us. Red hats were right there because it was an anti-Black Lives Matter. Bro, so one of my boys, he's black, like, a real black man. He has a megaphone, you know what I'm saying? He's like ghetto as hell, he's doing his thing. You had a bunch of white liberals come up and yelling, like, you don't know what it is to be black. And you turn around, it's just like, you're surrounded by nothing but blacks and Hispanics with MAGA hats, and you're telling a black man, you don't know what it is to be black. And I'm like, oh, shit. I said, oh.
You're confused.
I'm like, bro. And everyone kind of laughed, like, did you not?
They're race confused.
Look behind you.
Yeah, it's not even confusion, man. That's the younger ones really truly think that, right? Because they've been brainwashed to think that, okay? It's just been programmed into them to think that way, right?
Democrat blood runs deep.
Yeah, if your melanin is a certain fucking tone, you absolutely must vote this way because, well, that's the way they've been voting for a very long time, right? Ever since LBJ said he was gonna fucking have them voting for them forever, he was correct. Okay, he was right on what he was gonna do, right? Because it's a generational thing, unfortunately, right? And we actually didn't have that problem initially. Hispanics, we fucking fell into that because if you remember, growing up in New York, you know this. Growing up, it was they fucking roped us all together with the blacks and Hispanics all together, the brown and black and brown all the time, right? You would see fucking what was that Reverend Bobblehead? What's his name? Sharpton. Fucking yeah, you would see him out there with the black and the brown and all that other shit. They would use us in the city, okay, for votes. But then when any of our candidates came out, they didn't fucking support us and everything like that. We fell into that trap. All right. And when we fell into that trap, the media and everybody lumped us all together.
Definitely.
So that's the fucking issue, that we have to get through. So it's good to see that, like I said, that we said earlier, there are more blacks and more Hispanics now, very vocal. Okay. And like, fuck that. I don't believe in any of that bullshit. You want to be part of the Transformer crew and all that other stuff, that's on you. Okay, you want to fucking take another man's balls off your chin, that's on you. Get your cheeks clapped by another dude, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? I just leave me the fuck out of it. Leave my kids out of it. I don't want to see some dudes cocking balls in front of my kid because I'm gonna fucking go ape shit. So like we got away from we're starting to get away from all of that shit. So that's a good thing. All that craziness, but again, we need more people. But the younger generation is all fucked up over that.
Yep.
I think you older millennials are okay though, because many of you guys are closer to us Gen Xers.
I'd say they're gonna grow out of it.
Yeah,
they will. And you know what? If what we're seeing on the street is the typical liberal, I mean, these people that are right or what out there with the protests or whatever, they're all fucking ancient. Have you seen that?
yeah, I saw that.
So many of them are fucking. They're like my dad's age. Like, what the heck is your problem? Yeah, I mean, they're gonna age out quickly. They're like they may not make it to the next election.
Yeah, no shit.
They're gonna start dropping.
Wait, hold on. There's gonna be an election. I thought we had a king.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they got a king.
I'm so confused.
They got a king.
It's true. Thought we had a fucking king. All right, fam. We are It's 2 hours went by really, really quick. Let's go around the horn. Red Day, what do you got?
Oh my God, I don't even know. I just want to thank everybody for joining us. I hadn't seen Annie in a while. I figured that she was up to something good. She hadn't seen her on social media, but good to see you again. And Rula, thanks for joining. Hopefully you'll be back soon.
Yep.
We'd love to hear your. We want to hear your Greek potty mouth.
Yeah,
Over again.
we need a ruler rant
We know
very,
you
very
get.
bad. Rula's keeping her peace for a reason. God
There's a
bless her.
reason. Yep.
Yeah, there's a reason why she's keeping her peace, and
Nice
God bless her.
nice to meet you, PR conservative.
Same
Yep.
here, brother.
Yeah,
Same here.
Annie, what do you got, hon?
I think I'm ready to start making posts again pretty soon. There's been so much stuff to talk about.
Material.
Good.
Yes. So
Yeah,
I think I'll start making some again soon.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Rula, what do you got, hon?
I don't have much to say. I mean, thank you.
Well, no, it's good to have you on the
Yeah.
show. We definitely want to bring you back when you can.
Yep.
And definitely
We know
let us
you've been
know
in
when
the
you
chat a lot, so we
Yeah.
wanted to eventually get you on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, Rula's got reasons, beautiful reasons. So
Yeah, I
God
have
bless.
a good reason why I'm not.
Yeah. So we will get a ruler rant at some point soon.
Yeah.
So we'll get
Yeah.
it back. PR, what do you got, man?
Nah, man, it's a pleasure to meet all you guys, man. Thank you for having me on. Sorry, sometimes I go on my long Puerto Rican rants and I kind of pull back a little bit, but I appreciate it. And please call me. I know they call me like Uncle Tom, but please call me Tio Tomas. Do it properly. If you're gonna insult me, do it properly in Spanish, please. All right, man.
Tio Tomas.
Tio Tomas, no Uncle Tom, bro. That's reserved for the intelligent black man. I am a Tio Tomas.
Oh my God.
Holy shit, fam. Oh my God. Holy shit. Well, fam, that was I'm gonna take us out right here with everybody. We came in all together, so we'll go out all together. It was just a fantastic night having everybody. Thank you, Annievarrrr, for coming back. Thank you, Rula, for coming to hang with us. PR Conservative, thank you very much. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Rogue Nina, Conserve Reality, General Mills, I saw was in there for a little bit. Those of you on Rumble who just keep popping up and showing up, thank you guys. You guys are really helping us out with the algorithm and making this channel grow little by little. We really appreciate it. Jonathan, Stevie, our moderator, always doing his thing and taking care of us and whatnot. We really truly appreciate it. Did I miss anybody, Jonathan? Oh, Victoria was in the chat earlier too. So let me say thank you, Patriot Daywalker. We all know who that is. Yeah, I think Victoria was in the chat. Did I miss anybody, Jonathan? Before we go out,
did you get Blondie?
Oh, that's right. Base Blondie was in the chat too. Blondie will actually be with me on Wednesday. This Wednesday she'll be hosting with me. She's actually going to be doing, when I'm not doing Warrior Wednesdays with Major Ed, she's going to be doing Wednesdays with me. The 1 hour show, and then the 2 hour show is still me and Scott every Monday and Friday. Yes, I did say General Mills. Anybody else I missed? Did I miss anybody you think, Jonathan? Scott, you think I missed anybody, bro?
Not that I saw.
All right. Well, America, another great episode. Great people. We're definitely going to have everybody back. And I just want to say, I am the Big Red One Guy signing out. And remember that together and only together can we break the machine. God bless you all. God bless America. And I will see you all on Wednesday, fam. Have a good night.
Bye.
Peace.